Hello, welcome back to the channel. So this video that I put out in October has been getting a lot more likes and views lately than all the other videos, so it must have slipped into the algorithm or something. I don't know how it works. Since that happened, I decided to do another video of the same style. So I'm going to be doing country streaks and just talking about metas and tips that I can find along the way, and I hope that you can use them in your GeoGuessr games. Yeah, let's just dive right into it and see what tips and tricks we can share. So I can already tell that this is Singapore just from the grass here. We're driving on the left. Singapore just becomes really easy to recognize after a while. So these signs here, pale green, spaced out letters. This is a Singapore sign. I think I probably mentioned this on the last video as well, but let's just keep it in. Singapore becomes very recognizable after you've played the game for a little bit. This is a Japanese snow pole. They're white with the red stripes. They should have little like lollipops on the top of it. And this is also a Japanese style guardrail. Also, this is a fun trick here. This is Japanese cabbage, which you usually find on the northern parts of Japan, usually just in Hokkaido over here. So yeah, if you're in Japan and you see this kind of fauna, then you wanna go northern Japan. Yeah, so we weren't on Hokkaido, but we were very far up there. Alright, so this here is a Peruvian pole. You have the three bits sticking out like this. Peru also has the black and yellow, but I have seen that stuff in Colombia as well. This is Peru. Yeah, these things here I'm pretty sure are Peruvian as well. It's the electricity counter that is like rectangular, and it has the little rectangles like this. In Peru. Also, another thing is if you're in Latin America and you see tuk-tuks like this, it's gonna be Peru, because none of the other Latin American countries have tuk-tuks that I've seen. So if you think you're in Latin America, you see tuk-tuks, it's easy Peru. This is a Netherlands Bollard. It almost looks like a smaller version of the Turkish Bollard. It's gonna have to be the Netherlands. Okay, so this is a Ecuador Bollard. They look almost exactly the same as the New Zealand Bollards. Just white with red. There's different variations of these. I've seen them with the white bit like this, and then just two little red bits on it. So you can have two red bits that don't go all the way around it. So if you're in Latin America and you see little white bollards with red on them in any kind of form, it's probably going to be Ecuador. Way up there. That explains why I saw a yellow plate there. It was a Colombian car. So this is already, you can tell that this is South Korea. I talked about this in the last video, but the circular characters, the diagonal yellow black strip that doesn't go all the way to the bottom. If it did, it would be Taiwan. And the green plate is all signs that this is Korea in the mainland somewhere. Seoul. Doesn't look like in a city. Alright, so here we have New Zealand. This is actually Auckland. I mean, it's just because this is my city that I can already tell. Also the bins. Make sure you check out bins, because bins can be very helpful. Obviously here, it just says what city we're in, you know. So my advice here would be to check bins. This is Singapore. We already talked about these signs at the beginning, so we know we are in Singapore here. The pale green. Alright, so this is very poor quality, which immediately makes me think Germany, just from the quality of the coverage. I think I'm just gonna send Germany here without really going into it much. It's just the quality of the coverage. Okay, what do we have? This looks like Southeast Asia. So these sort of roads that have the kind of like square blocks, concrete sort of sections, you find mostly in Thailand and the Philippines. So out of those two countries, this already looks more like the Philippines from the landscape. And then we have this plate which has a slight hint of green, which would confirm that it's probably just going to be the Philippines. So let's just send it here. Cool. Alrighty, Tesco. That is a shop that I've seen in countries. I thought that was only in the UK, but these plates do not look like the UK, and this looks more like Malaysia. Do they have, I guess they have Tesco in Malaysia, because we have Malaysian plates, which are the two bits of white text. So it almost looks like two white blocks when it's blurred. So two white blocks would be Malaysia, and Indonesia would be three white blocks. So three bits of white text looking like blocks when it's blurred. The way I used to remember it would be to say the most amount of syllables means more blocks. So Indonesia is more syllables than Malaysia, so Indonesia has the more blocks. But eventually you don't need to think about that, you just start knowing that it's two. Okay, it's Malaysia. Also, we are on mainland Malaysia, not Borneo, just down by Johor. Okay, got a few blurs, so we might be in Belgium or Germany. So this is Belgium because Belgium has red characters on their license plates. So if it's blurred, like here, you can still see a hint of red. And Belgium is one of those countries that has some blurs around, just like Germany. We've got slightly elongated plates. In Latin America, you will generally find more boxy plates. The Brazilian ones almost look like European plates. And this is definitely Brazil. I think maybe in the northern east area of Brazil would be my guess, and kind of spot on. Alright, so we have these poles here which look like the thick Slovakian and Czech poles, I think. This is a Czech-Slovakian Bollard. There should be another orange bit underneath it. It's missing on this one, but there should be two of these, 1 and 2, and that would mean you're in Czech or Slovakia. So now it just becomes a game of 50-50 because they both look exactly the same. I would say. I personally think that. Okay, so this is Czech because we have the CZ. Luckily, honestly, without seeing that, I probably would have gone Slovakia, to be honest. It looks super Slovakian to me. Yeah, the 50-50 between these two countries is always quite difficult. So you just got to be careful. Way down there. Okay, so this sign here is a Spanish speed sign. I'll get closer to it so you can see it closer. So you can see that there's no white border or anything around the outside of it. It's full bleed red, and the font is like this small little, it's like a small little thick numbers. It's hard to explain, but it becomes very recognizable after a while. Just this little font and the full bleed red. It's like super Spanish, easy to recognize. Okie dokie, this is looking like Scandinavian. This should be Finland. Finland and Sweden have the yellow signs like this, but Finland has a little yellow line. You can see the yellow line around the outside of this one. That is something you won't find in Sweden, but you will find in Finland. That looks like a Finnish street sign as well, the little white rectangle with the black text. So I think we're safe to go Finland here. My first thought was Estonia for some reason. Let's have a look. Could be wrong here. Can't read that. This road is super interesting. I don't think I've seen a road like this before. Okay. People generally say that if you see these white flowers, then you're going to be in Estonia. But that is, I don't believe that because I've seen those white flowers everywhere. Okay, here we go. Alright, this was huge. Seeing this was so helpful because this could have been any of the Baltic countries for me. But the reason this came in clutch, I think I talked about it in the last video that I did like this, was the angle of this kilometer marker is 45 degrees. It's 45 degrees to the road. So that's Lithuania. In Estonia, it's 0. In Latvia, it's 90. Is that right? Or is it 90 in Estonia and then 0 in Latvia? I'm going to have to double check that one. But the easiest one to remember is the Lithuanian one because it's 45 degrees. And yeah, that's super helpful there. Who knows how long I would have had to drive for to find something else. So the 45 degree angle one, that's super helpful. And this is Lithuania again because we got these this Lithuanian double stick, as I like to call it, and yeah, it's super distinctive looking. Just these two sticks. Sometimes there's like two and then two, like it's different. There's different variations of it, but it's generally this type of thing. Sometimes it has two inductors on each side as well. Like there's different variations. But it's so different to, say, the Latvian one, where there would be just one big inductor on this side, no double stack, just one big inductor here, one big inductor here, and one big inductor here, that kind of thing. But this is super distinctively Lithuanian. Okay. I know it already said .ie on the bus, but the reason this is, if the bus wasn't here, we'd know this is Ireland, is because of these yellow dashes on the side of the road. Ireland's also one of the countries that has black with yellow chevrons. Other places that have these are Portugal and Norway. But yeah, these yellow dashes down the side is very Irish. First thought is Turkey. Actually, no. I don't think it is. This should be Spain, yeah? Okay, yeah. So I talked about this in the last video. Also, the last video that I did like this was in October, so I either got things wrong that I later found out that I was wrong about, or I didn't mention things, because I didn't mention that the eight dashes on this pedestrian sign, yes, it is the most you're going to get, and it's in Spain, but you should remember that Andorra also has the 8 dashes. Andorra shares a lot of the same signs and like the yellow reflectors and that kind of stuff with Spain, obviously being the neighbor right there. So, but this is Spain because it's super flat, and Andorra's got a super distinctive look to it, but it's just something to be aware of. Okay, what have we got here? So I mentioned earlier about the Finnish yellow line around the sign. Here you can see it again around this one. So that is indicating to me that we're in Finland. Also, we have 5 dashes on this pedestrian sign, which is if you're trying to tell the difference between, like, if you thought it could be Estonia or Finland, because sometimes they look similar to me, especially the language. But if you see a pedestrian sign, that's a good way to know which one you're in, because Estonia has 3 dashes, Finland has 5, so that's why it's good to try and memorize that kind of thing. This is a London taxicab. So you see these in London. We're just like, is this right by Buckingham? Is this Buckingham Palace? Wait, no, it's not Buckingham Palace. We are at Buckingham Palace. Pretty sure. I think we're like right next door to it. Yeah. So this pole almost looks like a the Thai pole. It's square with these dots in it that kind of get closer spaced at the top. It looks like a Thailand pole, and if you're in Europe and you see one of these, you're just going to be in Belgium. Yeah, should be Belgium. Yeah, seems good. There we go. Okay, so these long dashes here are Norwegian, especially in this sort of landscape, super hilly, with the Scandinavian red barns. If you see long dashes in Scandinavia, you're gonna be in Norway. So black bottom poles is a Russian, something you'd see in Russia. This is kind of crazy. Is this really far east? Or just north of Mongolia? Wow, cool. So we have yellow front plates again, but this time it doesn't look like Europe. And it looks more like Middle Eastern. So if you see a lot of yellow plates in the Middle East, then you're going to be in Israel or Palestine. And we also have Hebrew over here as well, so it's going to be in Israel. Okay. So this sort of landscape here, where it's this sort of green grass, no trees, with this rock, kind of layered rock formation in the mountains, which you can see over here as well. This is super Lesotho looking. Yeah, these sort of rocks, no trees anywhere. Certain parts of Lesotho you will see trees and stuff, but if it looks like this, It's easily just in there, you know, in the middle. Okay, so we have these flat guardrails, which you can get in Croatia and Serbia, also Poland, but this isn't a Polish bollard, but you could find these in Serbia, and I think you might be able to find them in Croatia, maybe. Yeah, I'm pretty bad with the bollard sometimes, but I think this might be Croatia. Yeah, it's Croatia, because Zagreb and Split are Croatian. Also, just the landscape, it feels more like coastal. Serbia mountains are a lot more like less dry. You can tell it's quite dry around here. So here's Split. So I think we're way down here actually, just south of Split. This is going to be Faro Islands because of the landscape here. We are going to have car meta here, so let's just check the roof racks. And yeah, this sort of landscape, it's very similar to Iceland. And no, not really Ireland, but Iceland. It's very similar. But I think eventually you start recognizing the difference between Faro and Icelandic architecture. Wouldn't really see a house like this in Iceland, I don't think. So we're in Faro Islands. Okay, seeing a lot of these random bollards is something in the GeoGuessr community we call Bollard Spam, which is something that you find in Russia a lot. Just random spam of bollards, usually on an intersection. So if you see a lot of bollards in one spot, you're probably just going to be in Russia. So I know we have the domain here, that's .cz, so we're in the Czech Republic, but if we didn't have this domain here, we'd know we're in Czechia because of this R. The R with a little V above it is only going to be in Czechia. So if you're in a country and you see a sign with this, that is Czech language. Well, that's going to be it for the video. Thanks for watching. If you got this far, I really appreciate it. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it. I'll be doing more videos like this soon. And I hope you all can use this information in your GeoGuessr games. I hope it serves you well. See you next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. See ya.